live. All three of us. It is Ethan, Lou, and the Jew.
Oh, you have
We
two
Jews
Jews tonight.
Oh,
Oh yeah, he was at shul.
well, three of us are Jewish. We did the three wise men. Two wise men. I didn't know you were Jewish, Ethan. Thank you.
Oh yeah. Shalom. Shalom.
Shalom.
Good
Shabbat
Shabbos.
shalom. Shabbat
Yes,
shalom.
yes.
We're getting close. Hey, thank you for joining us. It is the Burning River Browns Talk on the Fanatical Elves Network, a subsidiary of the Fans First Sports Network. Thank you for joining us tonight. Oh boy, we got a lot to talk about, and it's Friday the 13th, so we're going to talk about that. And I wanted to play along with that. That was kind of my idea, and Sherry picked up the ball and ran with it. So Ethan's the newest member of the Fanatical Elves Network, and this was like a last minute thing. I said, hey, you know what? I'll invite him on. What the
Heck
hell?
yeah.
I appreciate it. I do appreciate
Yeah,
it. Thank
no,
you.
thanks for coming on. We
Well,
appreciate
thank
you.
everybody for being so welcoming. Sherry, you're the
I should have seen your last
name.
name and knew you were a Jew. Sorry.
Well, do you know what I'm saying?
Janelle?
Did you know? But yeah, thank you very much, everybody. It's been
Sure.
wonderful. It's been awesome to work with everybody and glad to be a part of the team. And we're gonna make it happen.
Now,
We're
are
gonna
you?
make it after all. Oh.
Yeah, we are. Okay, Mary Tyler Moore. All right. Let me ask you.
All right.
Are you going to be downtown for the game Sunday?
No, I'll be not in downtown Richmond.
He's
Oh,
in
Richmond. You're down in
Virginia.
Richmond, Virginia. Oh, okay. I actually been to Richmond, Virginia, but it's been a long time. That's pretty
Don't worry, you're not missing anything. It sucks.
I appreciate the candid honesty.
Yes.
Let's get this.
How do people reach you, Ethan? What's the best way to reach you? 'Cause
Oh,
I'm at-
well,
yeah.
Yeah, well, if people are looking for me on social media, they can find me at egreen4325. You can also catch the podcast. I don't post so much on that Twitter account at Going Nuclear CLE. We're on YouTube which is Going Nuclear CLE. Look for us there, and
Cool.
we will be on, of course, on the Fanatical Elves Network. And looking forward to it. And other than that, you can call me at 867-530. Oh, no, that's not mine.
675-309.
Exactly.
I love it. Love it. Jenny, call Jenny for a good time. All right, Sherry, thanks for coming along here at Browns Fan Girl on Twitter, at Budgie M on Instagram.
That is correct.
I'm Lou Marconi at Marconi251 on Instagram and Marconi1973 on Twitter X. Thank you guys for joining us. So I'm kind of interested in hearing your story because you said you had a Brownsy Friday the 13th story here. Let's go ahead and hear that.
All right. So this was back in my day. Picture it.
I'm going to picture it.
2001, Canton, Ohio. Driving up to Richfield. I was working out of college. I worked up in Richfield, but I was living at home in Canton. And I hop on I-77 at Belden Village.
Okay.
And I get on the highway, and I'm not even up to the airport exit. I mean, well before that, all of a sudden I start hearing a noise. I'm like, what am I hearing? Stinking something, run over something, flat tire. So it is 7 a.m. And I'm like, all right, we got to get off the road here, and we've got to thankfully we were already in the days of cell phone, so I had a cell phone. I was able to call for roadside assistance, call AAA. And AAA, talk about that. Is AAA still a thing anymore?
It is.
It is.
I know, but it seems like you don't need that as much. But back in the day, do you remember the trip ticks? The trip ticks were great.
Yes, I do.
So I get towed, and they take me over to the Sears Auto, right? And so now we're starting this whole process at 7 a.m. So they get in there, and not only do I have to get at least one new tire, I think I've got to get 2 new tires, right? Because this thing was shredded. It was destroyed.
Okay.
So it starts off with that. Well, it didn't end there, friends. So they replace the tires, and they say to me, well, we also noticed there's a problem with the bushing and of this and of that. We need to
all this other stuff piles up. And
yes. And then, so we are getting later and later. I'm still supposed to be up in Richfield for work. and they say, well, we should do an alignment. Okay, do an alignment.
God, what was that bill? It sounds like it's getting expensive.
Oh, it got expensive. And for a young person and, 21, 22 years old, it was extremely expensive at that time. And so they do the alignment, and then they come out and proceed to tell me, well, while we were doing the alignment, we drained your battery, blah, 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 blah. Hours later, I was like, somebody needs to drive me to work. I got to get 45 minutes up the road to Richfield. I work, nearby, where the old Richfield Coliseum was, in that vicinity there. Finally get a ride up to work. And I mean, like, it was just, how is this happening? Then at the time, my fiance at that time, no longer my ex-wife, she picked me up at work. We had to meet with someone at about a wedding location. That sucked. I mean, we ultimately had our reception. But I mean, I go from having a flat tire to needing 2 tires, to needing a bushing replaced, to having an alignment, to having my battery dead, to having to get driven to work, and then all the way. I'm like, how? How does this happen? And it was within like the first year of me working at the company, so I didn't have much PTO to use. It was just awful. It was awful. It could have been worse. But it just felt like one thing after another, and I just could not believe it. But as I said, I have kind of tempted fate, and I back down from no Friday the 13th. In fact, I say, I dare you, Friday the 13th, poop on me again.
Oh man.
My wife Emily and I, we got married on
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th in Las Vegas.
Right.
By plan. It was not a spur of the moment. It was by plan that was it. But we didn't care. Friday the 13th. And this house I am living in today, we closed on it on Friday, April the 13th. So I fart in your general direction, Friday.
Oh, Mr. I love the Monty Python's reference.
Well done.
Come back here, I'll bite your legs off. I will. A flesh wound.
It's all flesh wound.
Oh, I have tire PTSD. I had to have a tire replaced earlier this week, and on the all-wheel drive Challenger with the big wheels, guess who wants to guess? The Price is Right. How much does one tire cost?
All right, without going over, now let me ask you, are these run flats or are they regular? Run flats meaning, I mean, you can't fill them up with air. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you get a flat, it'll keep going, but you don't have a spare, you just have the run flats. So are these regular tires or run flats?
You don't need spares anymore. That's not a thing.
Right. So could well be a very a run. Well, let's go. I'm going to go with how many inches are we talking? 18 or 20?
It's a big wheel, my friend.
Does it keep on?
Is this for your
the Challenger
car? Your Challenger?
Yes.
I'm going to go 3. I'm going to go 3 bills.
Okay.
I'm thinking at least 2 bills. I'm thinking about 220.
We're getting the prices right in the comments.
$1, Bob. $1, Bob.
I
hate $1 people, but Sherry, how much should we talk here? Because you didn't just replace one.
You do remember that. See, Ethan
what was
has
that
a
South
brilliant
Park?
memory.
I'm getting about 350. About 350.
Ethan has a
Loch Ness Monster. You know what I'm talking about, Ethan?
Yes.
Okay, he's nodding.
He
didn't react.
Yes.
He didn't react. Loch Ness Monster, 350. All right, go ahead.
And Ethan has a great memory. It was actually,
thank you, Brian.
I believe last month there was a flat tire that could not be repaired. It had to be replaced. So this is the second in 2 months. So what I'm saying to Cleveland is take better care of the damn roads. Number one, Cleveland, please. Okay. Yes, it was 3 bills to get one tire. One tire.
That is.
Which is a Shonda. That's a Shonda.
That is a painful. That is a kick. That is a package shot.
It unexpected.
Do you ever come up to Cleveland, Ethan? Do you ever visit Cleveland at all? Or
yeah, I do. My parents are both still there.
Okay. Are you originally from Canton, or are you?
Yeah. technically, I was born in Dayton, but only lived there for 3 months of my life, and then moved to
Doesn't
I was
Canton.
born
I
in
mean,
Parma.
okay. So then Ray grew up, went to school in Canton, went to Kent State, and then after graduating, sticking around and staying in Canton, then moved down to Virginia for a bit of an adventure. And well, that was in 2003. So 21 crappy years later, I am here.
I lived in Raleigh, North Carolina from 2011 and 2016.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I
You're
did.
near
I did.
NC State. You're near NC State.
And I was near NC State. I was in Wake County. Actually, I was closer to Duke when we
Oh, okay.
first moved there because I was like by the Raleigh Durham Airport, like right down, like really by Durham. So yeah, it was that actually was funny because that story broke today about Crystal Magnum. Did you ever hear? You know the woman, the Duke lacrosse woman that accused the team. Do you remember that?
Oh,
Oh, way back
I
when.
vaguely
that-
remember it.
Yeah, she basically her story fell apart in court, and she admitted today that she lied. She made it up.
Oh,
She did.
wow.
Yeah.
That's
So, but I
nasty.
remember when I first moved there, she got arrested for manslaughter, and she had to do 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, she ended up doing 10 years for manslaughter in North Carolina State Prison. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Yeah, so she had
Oh,
a really rough life. But anyway, yeah, that because I remember that whole Duke lacrosse thing happened.
yeah,
That was
that was
before I got there,
huge.
but around that time is when it was a big story down there that she got arrested for murdering manslaughter. I mean, she ended up killing somebody for
Wow.
yeah.
It sounds like she was a bit psycho there. It definitely sounds that.
She had problems.
Yeah.
Sounds it.
So let's just say that I'm not going to go into anything else, but yeah, but there was a great ESPN 30 for 30 about that. I don't know if you ever saw it because they talked about it. Like then the kids, and the thing was, when you go to Duke University, you're you're talking money. All right, these kids had their families are lived in the north. They were from like they're talking like Connecticut, New Hampshire. I'm talking like Northeast Massachusetts, and they had money, and the parents were smart enough to say, let's get North Carolina attorneys because they knew we're not going to bring attorney down from here. It's not going to work.
Mhm.
So they got North Carolina attorneys, and that's the thing is when you're accused of a crime, and if you don't have the money and you got to rely on a public defender,
Not
you're
so
in
good.
trouble. Yeah, it's not these guys. These
Not
were
so
good
good.
attorneys, and they knew what
Mhm.
they were doing, and they did their due diligence. And it just they talk about it. The ESPN did a really good job with that. But anyway, sorry, I don't know how we got to this.
I was talking about being in crappy Virginia, but yeah, and it's like I was saying, my parents are right down the road, one way and the other. They're divorced, but
Yeah.
my dad
Yeah,
lives.
your mom's close to like where I live, right?
My dad lives in Shaker Heights. She lives
Yeah.
down the street.
Okay, so-
Okay.
He lives down the
Yeah.
street from Mr. Goldhammer, and
Okay.
and my mom lives off of the highway down the road from Beechwood Place.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, is
right
that
off the
271?
Yep.
Yes, 271 and Chagrin or is that
Chagrin.
and
Yeah,
Or Richmond?
or Cedar.
Cedar. Okay.
Yeah, 271 and Cedar. You get off anyway. But yeah, so
I was
anyway,
at
I'm in
Beechwood
Geauga
Place this
County.
week.
I'm in Geauga County where I live, and I grew up on the west side in Brooklyn, Ohio.
okay, yeah. So I do get up there to visit. Normally, it's about once a year. If I'm lucky, I get up there twice a year. I try and time my visits for sporting events if possible. And then if I can get in a corned beef sandwich, I get in a corned beef
Of
sandwich.
course.
There we go.
There you go.
Shout out, Jax.
It is it's the most
Always
important
good.
part of my trip.
Well,
Of course.
hey, if you come to a Browns game, I'm a season ticket holder. I'll be there. So is Sherry. We'll be there. So I'll just be sure to know if you give me a high five. If I give you a high five, you're going to take 10. So
Hi-yo.
Yes.
there you go.
All right.
There we go. All right. So you want to talk a little bit about? Well, Sherry, do you have a Friday the 13th story?
Well, I was just griping this whole week of the tire thing just aggravated me, obviously, because it's like
Is that?
last month the same thing happened. So I'm like, okay, great.
I really don't have one. I was thinking more of the horror movie stuff.
Oh,
That's what I was thinking of. But I really not. I mean, I can't really think of a bad luck Friday the 13th. I got married on the 15th, on a Saturday the 15th.
Yeah, nothing's ever.
My daughters were
I'm
born
gonna
on the
knock
5th
on
and the
tables.
19th. Yeah.
Nothing bad's ever happened on the 13th. I mean, the week of, yes. Well, this week, most memorable. However, I did something. I mean, I had to take the car around to make sure the tire was on right. So I went to Beechwood Place And it's interesting because I haven't been in a mall in a long time. And it is kind of bizarre. I went to Nordstrom, I got a coffee. That's what I did. I wanted to go to this other little coffee shop that was, if you're familiar with Beechwood Place, there's an annex in the front of it
Mhm.
that has a bunch of shops. There's a Container Store,
Oh,
Chinese place. You know the good
Mitchell's.
Chinese I think it's
Mitchell's.
Hoa.
I don't know, but they have Mitchell's there.
Yes, the
That's
Mitchells
Yeah.
is there. Yes,
Mhm.
and there's a place called Nervous Dog, which has incredible coffee. They were closed at like 4 o'clock on a like
slackers.
Tuesday.
And,
I'm
you
like,
know, those are slackers right there. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah,
Those are
yeah.
slackers.
It was disappointing. So I had to go into the mall, and I'm like, great. Now I have to
Yeah.
go into the mall,
I
which
would
is it's a schlep. I didn't feel like going in, and then you get accosted by all the vendors that are trying to sell you crap. Like, try this product. I'm like, I just want a coffee. So I put the blinders on, went down the escalator, got my coffee, came up, ran back outside. Thankfully, the tire was installed correctly. The people who installed it were good at their jobs, which is, ray of hope, bright side. And I got a coffee, and the tire, so far so good.
Hey, there
Hey.
you go. You know, I'll tell you what, the worst thing the chuck holes that I experienced in Detroit.
Oh yes, I remember
Oh,
those.
Detroit's a scary city. I'll admit that.
It is. We went up.
Those are bad potholes.
I was
Mhm.
still all in college. I think we were my second year of college. That would have been
Yeah.
98, 99. And my brother came back from, he was living out in California. He came back to Ohio during the break or for something. And he was with my sister-in-law. They were up in Toledo, and we went up there to see them and then proceeded to head up to Windsor.
Okay,
And on
that's
our
a nice
back,
place.
actually kind of funny enough, on the way back before we left the hotel, my friend, his car had a flat. So we were like,
No,
donut, we're going to get back into Detroit
the donut.
and then go to the place. But while they were getting the tire fixed, I swear I'm driving like down the road, taking people down to the Wendy's, and like the chuck holes were horrific. I've never seen it.
Notorious. Mm-hmm.
It was awful. It was breaking axle bad.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yep.
Jeez.
Anyway,
Wow.
I digress.
Wow. Well, okay. Let me kind of think about a Friday the 13th story.
Yeah, it's funny because when I lived there, I lived in Ann Arbor. So Washtenaw County has a nice tax base. It's not cheap to get into pay tuition to go to UMich, and all the everything along with it. And then the contrast of Wayne County, I mean, you could see, like you said, the potholes, but there were plenty of streets in Washtenaw that were crumbling.
I'll give a Detroit story because the first time I wrestled in Detroit scared the shit out of me.
All right. Which arena did you wrestle at?
It was at the Inkster Rec Center when I was there. I was for ECW.
Okay.
And I was just like, okay, so I got there and I kind of went in. I stopped and got gas, and I must have not realized the neighborhood I was at because
scary.
there was people just staring at me that weren't my race. Like, why are you here? What are you doing?
Did you take a wrong turn at Albuquerque?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm filling up my tank. I had Ohio plates. And I walked in and I got something to drink. I kind of went, yeah, the rec center. It's right. I just kind of just making sure I knew where I was going because this is before the day. This was in the late 90s. This was like 98. And then it just shocked me to see like this bulletproof glass like this thick. And I'm going, where the hell am I? I'm just sitting there thinking like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, man, you go over there. And I was just like, okay, I'm getting out. He's like, he kind of said, he looked at me. He's like, you're not in the right neighborhood, right? And I said, I'm getting that feeling. That's what I kind of said to him. And it was like, I'm like, am I going to get jumped here? What the hell? And I'm like, and I got in my car. I filled up my tank, had my drink, got my car, just drove, locked my doors, like just okay. Just, all right, guys, just getting gas. No problem. It was almost like there was another experience. You ever been to Fayetteville, North Carolina?
I've been through that. And it's kind of funny that you say it, Lou. All right. So
Vietnam. They call it Vietnam.
oh well, I don't know about that, but
Yeah, they do. They call it Vietnam for a reason.
okay. I'll have to ask my father-in-law about that. My wife is from Wilmington, North Carolina.
Okay, great town. I love Wilmington. I've been there many times.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Her parents are
Beautiful,
born and
beautiful
raised
town.
Yeah, born and raised there. Well, anyway, my father-in-law was giving us like directions one year because we drove. This was before we had kids, and we went down to Wilmington for Christmas with her family, and then drove all the way up to Ohio. And he kept talking about directions, and I had the Garmin at the time, and he was saying something about Fayetteville. I'm like, what the heck is Fayetteville? Fayetteville, but the way he says it is Fayetteville. But down here in Virginia, they have this thing where they don't say there's a city out toward the coast called Norfolk. Okay, Norfolk. People here and Norfolk. You it up. It's Norfolk, folks. I'm like, what is this all about? Oh, geez, Lou. So Lou, let me ask you this. Because I haven't, you were in the ECW. So were you with Taz, little RVD?
Yeah, they were there when I was there. Yeah, but I never wrestled with them. I wrestled Al a couple times, Meanie, Danny Doring, those guys.
Okay, now Al
Snow.
Oh, yes. Now Al Snow. What does everybody want?
Head.
Yeah, that guy was great. Because he was from Lima. He was from Lima, Ohio.
Yes, he was. Great guy. One of the best human beings I know.
Oh man, that was some fantastic stuff. I'm a big wrestling fan, especially.
Oh, dude, we could do a whole show.
Oh, it would be amazing. We've got to do that because I mean.
Well, I think you knew that about me. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain I knew that. What were you putting up your glamour shot the other day? I think
the glamour shot. Sorry.
Oh, please tell me.
Your glamour.
I think it was on your profile when we were.
Oh! That was that was when I was wrestling for the NWA. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, I remember what. Who was it that said that?
I can't remember who commented on it, but yes, that's.
That was Sam, the kid with the cowboy hat.
It was Sam that said
he called it a glamour shot.
No, he called it a thirst trap.
Oh, he called it a thirst trap.
Because I
yesterday, yeah, that's great.
Oh,
it was yesterday. I welcomed Ethan to the Fanatical Elves, and they saw my picture, and it's like it was wrestling, and I'm all like jacked up and in shape, and yeah.
Of course, he's of that generation, though. To say something like that is so funny to me. That is hilarious.
Oh, Sam's a kid. Sam's young. Yeah,
he's a little kid.
He's a little
bubble.
He's a little bubble. Yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, we could go. I've taken us off a turn again. The wrong turn at Albuquerque.
That's a fun show. That's cool. Yeah, we could talk wrestling anytime. I don't get it that it was so funny. I was at the Browns game last year because this is my second year as a season ticket holder, and it was the Jacksonville game.
Okay.
And it was so funny because I'm standing there with Harvey, and guess who comes out and smashes the guitar on the amp? It was a wrestler. It was Johnny Gargano.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's right. Okay.
And I remember when he first broke in 2005. I trained with him. I helped him. Oh yeah. Oh God, I knew him when he was a kid. I knew his stepdad was Wally. Wally even talked to me about it. He was so happy to wrestle with you because I was like, I'm well known. He's like, I was like, yeah, he's fine. He'll be fine. As I kind of just said to him, he was a good kid. He was a really good kid back then. I haven't seen him in years or talked to him, but I think his wife was there. She was doing something else, and the guy in front of us was like, man, what's it with Cleveland and pro wrestlers? They're just like a pro wrestling factory. And Harvey looked at me and I said, don't.
No, please, no. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about it.
No, I don't want the attention. Who was the guy when we were at the last time before the West 6 tailgate shut down?
Yes. I immediately forgot that guy's name, but Harvey.
Oh, Wardlow.
Thank you. I forgot it. I'm like, oh.
But Harvey brought him over, and then Ken Carmen came over and talked to me. Ken Carmen knew who I was, even though I done a ton of fat jokes about him.
So Lou, did you also do? I've missed this. Did you actually do stand-up comedy, or
no?
You just no. You're a
I just go. Actually, after we do the Sunday stew pot, you probably seen the reels and shit.
Yeah.
Corey actually was telling me I got to do an open mic. because I'll write jokes and I'll put them in the notes on my phone, or I'll have them here. And sometimes I'll have them written down. If it comes in, it comes in. I think the hardest laugh I got, the one that I wrote was about Yvette. Do you remember that one, Sherry? Did you? I had Heather on from the Squad Pod. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Love Buckeyes. Heather, sweet girl, great girl,
Oh, yeah.
and a young lady, I should say, because she's not. She's a
we're
grown woman.
we're very solid. She's been on.
Yeah, she's solid. She's great. So we did a golf outing back in August,
Right.
and I was telling her, I was like, hey, did you know Yvette played a joke on me at the golf outing? She was like, really? What'd she do? And I said, well, I'm just sitting in the chair minding my own business. Yvette walks up to me, puts her right boob right on top of my head, and she goes, freeze, you're under a breast.
Hey-o!
And I just put my hands up and said, I'm not moving. And she's like, did she really do that? Did she? I was like, no, but it would have been funny as shit if she did. And I made sure to make it into a reel and send it to Yvette, and she died laughing. She thought it was hilarious.
No, that's fantastic. I had a boss when I worked at Richfield. He was like, you need to go to Second City.
Oh, wow. Second City.
Right.
Yeah.
He thought, I don't understand it. I mean, I guess my storytelling is such that he felt that would be, in line for me, but I'm actually not that funny. I'm not a joke person. I feel like I can tell a story, I can see things, and I go crazy, and so it turns into something funny. Is kind of where I go with it.
Some people are like that. They're just, if they're themselves, they're kind of witty and funny, but if they try to be funny, they can be annoying. There's people that are like that. I know people like that all the time, but most of the time it's hard to be funny when you're in front of people, because it's either going to land or it's not. And you kind of got to read the room, and you got to do stuff. And there's times like people will tell jokes and it'll just be like, oh, and just so you know, the Cavaliers won 115 to 105.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
yeah.
Pulled it off.
That is awesome. Yeah. I'm watching, but I'm on the stream. Since I'm in Virginia, we get the Monument Sports Network. So
okay. Just so you know, I had it on here. I just had it on. So just Cavs won 115 to 105. But anyway, so yeah, I just never. Maybe I should find an open mic somewhere and just give it a shot, because I got shit written down. I got stuff,
It never hurts. It never hurts. Now, my brother's college roommate, I don't know. He tours all over the place. He's a comedian, John Caparulo.
I heard the name.
Familiar.
Yeah. And he went on tour with like a troupe that was like with Vince Vaughn.
Whoa.
And stuff. But he's a funny guy. He comes on, he talks about a Stark, and he's got this kind of boy. I don't know if it's even a made up voice, but it's kind of a voice.
My ultimate dream is to be on Gutfeld.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, the only thing I know about Greg Gutfeld is when Bobo on the caller on the Howard Stern show stole one of his lines or his jokes, and they caught him in it, and then he had a punishment. He had to write like an essay, and it had to be graded by a teacher. And it was horrible. And
well, that is really funny.
Because he stole a line from Gutfeld.
Yeah, he stole something from Gutfeld, and it was stolen valor. Because he tried to play it off as his own.
I'll give you a joke. That's going to be on the Stew Pod. I did this when we were talking about Christmas and Christmas movies. It was a part of the topic, and I said, they were gonna have before all this stuff broke about P. Diddy, they were gonna have him remake a Christmas movie. Did you know what it was called?
No.
Home Alone.
Oh. Oh, so here's
without Joe Pesci. So
you were talking about lawyers, and it made me think of Joe Pesci. And I was
you motherfucker, you.
Well, but you talked about if you're out of state and you need an attorney, get somebody from that state, and which is kind of the anti Vincent Gambini.
Oh yeah, that never works. That never works in real life. You see how bad that judge just hated him.
Herman Munster. Herman. Mr. Gambini.
Mr. Gambini.
Mr. Gambini.
What's a ute?
Yes, ute.
We're 29 minutes into the show, and we didn't even talk about the Browns or the game yet. We're just talking about my cousin Vinny.
Because the Browns are a joke. There is
Right.
that
Yeah.
They're having a joke of a season. Yeah,
For
I would
sure.
admit
It's
to that.
no, actually though, it's more of a Friday the 13th nightmare of a season because
Oh, when you start out 1-6, that's it. I mean,
they weren't
yeah.
going anywhere, and the fact that Deshaun Watson was even coming out. Well, I've been on a team that was 0-4 before, and then we went 12-4. All right, kiss my tuchus. You're playing like ass.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was, and there was several things that happened because I remember when we were going into that Baltimore game, I think I even said something on this show. I said, this is the healthiest the offensive line has been. They put DeJuan Jones at left tackle.
Mhm.
I like this move. Fuck you, Jed Wills, sit down.
Yes.
And then I said, we'll see what Jameis Winston can do. And all of a sudden, we look like an NFL offense that could produce, and we
Seriously.
won. And it was just like, and I said, and I think that was Dorsey's first game of calling plays too. I
I
think so.
believe so. I believe
I
you're
believe
correct.
so.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, and I said, everybody's expecting Baltimore to kill us.
Right.
Then the Thursday night game, everybody was expecting Pittsburgh to blow
Mhm.
us out, and it'd be Stefanski's last game.
Yeah.
We win in the snow. I was at that game.
The
In
snow
the snowstorm.
globe.
Yeah, I was sitting in her seats, and I was got into a fight with a Steelers fan because the guy mouthed off. He said something
Oh
just
boy.
disrespectful, and I'm like, dude, I will whoop. I called him a Gen Z broccoli-haired faggot. So
Oh, hey now. Did you call him a veg head? You should call him a
no,
veg head.
Veghead.
Boy, I'll if that we're on YouTube, I think, right? Oh yeah, that's funny. Okay, that'll be good with that one. But the guy was talking all tough until he had to walk by me to get to his seat, and I'm like, I'm here. Go ahead. I'm here. And the guy, the drunk rowdy guys that sit by you, they were loving
Yes.
me. They loved me. Anyway, it was a good time.
I love my pack of drunks.
The pack of drunks that hang
I
out with
love
Sherry.
them.
They're like, who's this dude? Who's this dude? But yeah, I think because I think Troy Aikman even said this. If maybe the line was healthier and Winston was playing, I could see us beating Dallas. I could see us beating the Giants, and I could see us beating the Raiders, and we'd be a 6-win team versus a 3-win team,
Exactly.
which could be a blessing in disguise. And I'm gonna. You're okay. You're pointing at me and you're nodding. Are you thinking the same thing that I'm thinking?
Draft picks? Yeah.
Yes.
What's the difference between having 7 wins and having 3 wins? Neither is making the playoffs. 7 wins, you're picking about 9, 10, 11, 12. 3 wins, you're picking in about the top 5.
Mhm.
So we're in the top 5. I saw one mock draft today on Chat Sports, and it had Shadir Sanders 1, Cam Ward 2, Travis Hunter 3, Abdul Carter 4, and the Browns 5 taking Kelvin Banks from offensive tackle from Texas.
And that's a good move. If you build with the only question is, Lou, all right, so let me ask you this. Let's say that DeJuan gets healthy.
I think he's a left tackle. I don't think they're going to take Banks, but go ahead.
Okay, bingo. So that's what I was going to say. Is Jones potentially your solution at left tackle? Is that one less guy that you need to replace?
No, I think he could be a solution at tackle, but I think he could be either a right tackle or a guard.
Who? Banks, you mean?
They could do that.
Okay. Yeah, because we've got right now, as it stands, if the line came back intact, it sounds like they want to keep Teller. I think Posick is good.
They want to keep. I heard they want to keep Conklin too.
Okay, right. That's what
I
I'm
heard
saying.
that. I heard that.
And isn't Batonio,
Oh.
isn't like
He's pretty much done. He's pretty
like
much
retired?
Zach
We're
Zinner could probably
banking on
replace him.
him.
They're probably
gonna
Yeah.
retire.
I mean, Batonio probably is at that point, but he's a fighter. I love
He
that
is.
guy.
No,
he
absolutely.
might come
I
back
agree.
another year. We don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, just speculating.
So let's say you have the starting lineup. Let's say we from left to right, we go with Jones, Batonio, Posick, Teller, Conklin. The other problem is this, Lou. And Sherry, is that we changed the entire offense for this dingus Deshaun to force feed him.
Dingus Day.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Out the Punchkis.
to try and make it work for him. So, and then we lost Bill Callahan.
Okay, but let's go that he went to be with his son.
I know,
Yeah,
but at the
yeah.
same
But
time,
but we didn't fire him. We didn't fire him.
I know.
He requested, and we accommodated him. But go
and
ahead. Yeah.
I think that was right. But when we saw what the rushing offense was in Buffalo under Dorsey,
Same here.
it sucked. And so he brought that level of suckiness here.
Do
So-
you see them drafting Genty?
No, not
Hmm.
not in the first round for sure. If he's available later, maybe, but I don't see it.
He won't be in the second round. He won't be in the
No,
second round.
nope.
I could see the guy from UNC, Hampton, Montarian Hampton. Keep an eye on him.
Heard of him.
Second round pick. He's leading the ACC in rushing. He's more like a prototypical AFC North back. He's about a 225-pound guy, about 6 feet tall. I mean, he's a bigger back compared to Genty. Genty's smaller,
Mhm.
and the thing that Mountain West Conference doesn't have the same level of talent as the ACC. Or Zach,
Or
you're
the
not. Yeah, you agree with me on
SEC.
that? Okay.
Yeah, the proof is going to be in the pudding. Actually, this is the
Mhm.
beauty of the expanded college football playoff. Now we're going to see Boise State and SMU. I mean, SMU's already in the Big 12. They moved over. To
Yeah,
the
but SMU's a
But-
more. Yeah, they're more. Yeah, I know what you mean.
but yeah, we're going to get to see what Boise State is really about, and how durable a guy like Genty is when he's playing against top-notch defenders. Because you look at these teams and you think about it, how many of them actually make it to the NFL? Very few.
Mhm.
Oh, those
So-
teams, no.
Exactly. Of those teams, and just in general, even though you're like, wow, these guys are great. You're like, yeah, this guy sucks. Hey, Tommy Toby guy, you stink.
I did an article that dropped today. I did it a couple days ago, but they waited to drop it on Friday for Fans First. Was if Abdul Carter's there, we're picking him.
We need somebody to go to match up with Miles. I am hopeful that Mike Hall gets to play the last few games.
I heard he. I don't know if he's.
But he expects to play. He's questionable, but he expects to play, is what was reported.
There's another guy that could be there, but I don't see us taking a defensive tackle in the top 10. Graham from Michigan.
He's pretty darn good.
He's
Mhm.
very good. Yeah.
I mean-
if we're there at 11 or 12, if we win a couple more games and we're at 11 or 12 and he's there, we're taking him.
And the other possibility, which everybody's going to tear their hair out when it's happening, is when Andrew Berry decides ultimately to trade down.
I don't think he'll do that.
I wouldn't put it past him. Let me put that. And then
I don't think he will. But
yeah,
go ahead. I don't think if anything, he might. I wouldn't even say trade up, but I don't see him trading back. I really don't. I honestly don't. I think they're going to take the best guy they can get at that position.
I hope so.
If they trade back, they could trade back in the second round, but not in the first.
Right.
I think they got a chance of taking a premium starter that early, considering they haven't had that many of those picks. I think he's going to stay there. That's just me speculating on my part, but I think I picturing this defense with a healthy JOK, Abdul Carter, and Myles Garrett. Those
Mhm.
four, I mean, those three in the front. Oh my God, you know how much you can do with that athleticism? It's amazing. So, in a way, it's kind of a blessing in disguise. Plus, I don't mean to say it this way, but the Deshaun Watson experiment failed. They took a big swing and it was a big miss. They got to move on.
Yeah.
I have a feeling, and I've heard this from a few other people. Carson Beck in the third round.
Yeah, no.
I like that he thought of that nice long pause. Okay,
He sucks.
why?
The guy sucks. Okay.
He sucks.
He's a big suck bag. I don't want a third round douche quarterback. Okay. Give me somebody in the second round that actually might play. We've got it. We've already got a guy who can sit on the bench and keep it warm. Oh yeah, DTR. I love the guy, but you're not a starting NFL quarterback. Okay.
No, he's not. No, he's not. So if we have Winston back next year,
We need a veteran, Winston/veteran, whoever it is. Somebody's going to have to
Sure.
come in, and they're going to have to be on the cheap, unfortunately. And then
Yeah.
you have to bring along a rookie.
yeah. Do you see? I don't see us taking a quarterback in the first. I don't see any franchise quarterbacks in this draft. If they take Carson Beck, it would be a project to develop. I would like to see them draft a quarterback and develop them.
That's
want-
what I said.
That's what
A
I want
baby
to see.
quarterback.
You said baby. I'm like, what the hell is she talking about?
I'm like, he's a baby quarterback.
Like
I do
rookie.
have something important to remind you. I think we
We gotta
need
do
to
a break?
pause for a break. Yes.
Let's do a break, guys, and we'll just pause right here for our sponsors, and we'll do it right now. Okay, we're back. Thank you very much, Sherry, for reminding me
welcome.
to do that. All right, appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. Hey, check out Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. It's in the description of the details of the show. Hey, it's Christmas time. Order up some coffee for Christmas gifts. People love that stuff. So it's good coffee. Thank you. So what were we talking about? Okay, there's another name I'm going to throw out. I don't think he's going to be here this year, but he's probably going to either go in the transfer portal or go back to Penn State. Drew Allar.
Drew Aller. Oh, absolutely. I was just going to mention that if he decides to come out, he's not first round. Unless he has a magnificent playoff run. He's not a first rounder, but I would take him if he were available in the second round. Gimme. He's got the size, and I think he's got the mental acuity to play in a Kevin Stefanski offense.
Yeah, I think he's got the arm, too. He's got an NFL arm.
Exactly. So give me that kind of a guy, and I'd feel pretty good.
Yeah, maybe they'll say it depends. He might not come out this year, which he probably won't. And he could be at least a first round pick. There's always quarterbacks to get over up. Now, we'll see what they do. They could trade for a guy that's already on somebody else's team that could come cheap too, a young quarterback. Got to remember, Brett Favre was traded to the Packers from the Falcons after his rookie year, and Jerry Glanville hated him. Yeah, Jerry Glanville. He called him Mississippi. He goes, "Oh, we drafted the wrong guy." He was telling like the GM wanted him, but Glanville didn't want him, so he just wasn't going to play him and just treated him like dirt. Go ahead, Ethan.
Let me ask you this: is there somebody that you think of when you're talking about a young quarterback that's on a roster, maybe isn't playing, that they might be, a team might be looking to move on from? Do you have somebody in mind?
Nobody comes to mind right now.
Okay. I mean, I was thinking, so there's a couple of folks that, actually, wait, let me back that up. Nobody in particular that I go, oh my God, this guy is a diamond in the rough. If we can get this clown, this will be the best. Don't give me no stinking Will Levis. Don't throw me a Trey Lance. I don't want any of your sorry Mac Joneses. All right, you guys stink. Okay, no Taylor Heine. I don't want your Heine. Keep your Heine out of here. Okay. I would think that there's a couple of things that could happen. Let me throw this out there. And I know again we've gone way off track, but what if possibly? Do you think Pittsburgh's going to hold on to Russ Wilson? What will happen to Justin Fields?
You think Fields will come here?
I think no.
They have 1-year deals. Just this right. Fields, Wilson, and Najee Harris. All three of them are going to be free agents unless they sign them before the date.
Right.
So Fields, I could see Fields coming here, but I'm not really that excited about him being on the Browns.
If it would be a matter of he's a young veteran. I don't think that I think we could get him cheap. That's the biggest part of this because we are screwed. And this is something I was wondering about. And I think that I was talking to John and Sam about this yesterday on the Fanatical Elves podcast. What if, and I would love to know how this would impact the salary cap. What if Deshaun just suddenly retired and Jimmy and some money went under the table and into his bank account in the amount of $1 million?
I asked Jack Duffin about that. It would still count. And I remember we talked about that. What you would probably see, he's probably not going to play next year. At least he's not going to be ready early. And I mean, he probably won't be ready till at least October to even practice. So that tells you that if he gets cut by the Browns, it'll be June 1st, 2026. The cap hit will be 26 and 27. It'll smooth over the cap hit a little bit. They could draft a guy or they could bring in a young guy to bring along, but they took a big swing and a miss on this guy. But there's ways of working around it. We're $46 million under the cap now, and we're going to be $8 million over in 2025. So it's workable. People make it sound like it's an albatross. Yeah, it kind of is, but it's kind of not. It all depends on what they do. I could see them making moves to find value guys, trying to get more trying to do that. You know, one thing that I know Barry likes to do, if you ever watch what he does, he likes to sign former first round picks that didn't work out
Mhm.
and give them a shot. What about Sam Darnold?
He's not going to
Hmm.
come cheap enough. He's having such a good season.
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
Minnesota. He's not going to take anything cheap. What about Daniel Jones?
Oh, floating
Oh,
out in the ether. Can we pluck him?
no. I don't want Daniel Jones.
Hey, how about Zach Wilson while we're at it? Oh,
No.
lock up your sisters and your wives. Oh,
Yeah, is it funny how these? I really don't see a franchise quarterback in this draft. The only guy I see is possibly 26 Drew Alar, and possibly 27 would be Archie Manning.
Oh.
and I'm not so. And Arch has a long way to go.
Mhm.
He's got a
He's
long
pretty
way to
young,
go.
right?
He's
What
pretty
year
young.
is
I'm
he in?
talking. This is 24. I'm talking 3 years from now.
Oh,
I'm
Yeah,
talking 3
gonna,
years.
because this is his second year of college.
okay. He's a sophomore.
So if he plays next
Hmm.
year, presumably he will, because Ewers is going to come out almost assuredly. He'll play next year, and depending upon how he does, he may be in the draft next season.
Gotcha.
I'm not so sure. And like you said, Lou, I'm 100% in agreement with you that I don't see a franchise quarterback in any of these guys that are going to end up being taken at the top of the draft and probably shouldn't be. They all look good in shorts and a t-shirt throwing the ball on air.
right.
Yeah,
Other on Sunday, that's
we
another
see
story.
how many times do we see this every year? Some quarterbacks they get drafted high, they
Mhm.
get hyped up, that people buy into it. It's like they draft these guys to sell merchandise.
Kenny
It's like,
Pickett.
Pretty much.
Kenny
what's
Pickett.
that?
Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett. Yeah, he was the only
Yeah.
first round
Loved him.
quarterback.
Pittsburgh loved him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it didn't last long.
No, tiny hands, tiny mitts. What are they?
Yep.
Yeah. I'll tell you. So, all right. Well, but before we leave here, let's talk a little bit about Sunday. The one cool thing about the game, they're wearing the whiteout uniforms. I think this is the
Oh, and the
second or
white
third.
helmet.
The
Yeah.
white helmets and the whiteout
Mm.
uniforms. Are they going to wear them a third time for the Dolphins game?
No
They
idea.
usually wear them 3 times.
Hmm.
They did it for the Raiders game. It might be the Dolphins game. Because they didn't wear it on the Thursday night game. They did they wore them on the Raiders game.
Mhm.
They're wearing them this game. It might actually be the Sunday night Dolphins game. It's still Sunday night. It hasn't been flexed yet. Is that
Hmm.
correct?
Yeah,
As far as
I know. Boy, that's going to be brutal. Can you
Right.
imagine you're going to see the Dolphins in cold weather?
Hey, I tell you what, I'm hoping for it. I want to be there. I want to be there to cold weather. If you know, I don't like the idea of losing for draft picks, but
No.
no, I don't like to do that. But it kind of goes to show that because I was trying to tell people, I have an article that I wrote and I'm waiting for it to come out, and I was trying to explaining it to Browns fans. The grass is greener where you water it. That's the title of it.
Yeah.
And I was explaining, like, people don't know their history, and I explained Pittsburgh. Everybody think everything's great in Pittsburgh, and we remember how many times Bill Cowher was supposed to buy a house in Strongsville.
I
All
love
stupid-
those. Were my favorite rumors.
Those stupid-
Allegedly, he
stupid-
met with a realtor in Strongsville. And
Yeah,
he's
it's so
looking at
stupid.
houses.
And I said there was a time from 1933 to 1972. You know how many times Pittsburgh made the playoffs? Once, in 1947. Do you know how many games they won in the playoffs? Zero. Do you know how many points they scored in the playoffs? Zero. They got blown out 21-0 in that game.
Hmm.
So you're talking 39 years of complete futility. And they built a new field.
Mhm.
They built Three River Stadium for them to open in 72 when they made the playoffs that year. And pretty much Chuck Noll took over that team. It took them 3 years to turn it around. And they had to show some patience. But I'm trying to explain it, guys. It's not the grass isn't. I said, can we water the grass where we're at instead of urinating on it?
Well, that
It's
would
kind of
be-
like what I
would
said in
be
the article.
helpful.
Can we start
The
doing that?
nitrates.
Well,
will
I was
burn
explaining
right
it. I
through
said
the grass.
I was so great that finally the owner just talked to a reporter and said, yes, we got the right people in place. Okay, I'm perplexed by this. Of course. I mean, he is. I think we all are. And
But are we really? Are we really perplexed at this? We saw what we had last year. he watched that Deshaun can't run a real offense. This guy's a clown show.
I'm talking about we still won despite him. We were 5-1. He was 5-1 as a starter.
He was, and you're right. But then you go and you're like, hey, here's a good idea. He sucks, but let's cater to him.
Yeah.
You're perplexed.
You know what else he does? He always holds the ball longer than most quarterbacks. And when he does that, it's like
he's not athletic enough or fast enough anymore to make the magic play.
And with this Achilles injury, he's not going to be.
How many times? This is at least the second in the pros, because that's why we ended up with Denzel Ward. We ended up with Ward, and the fourth pick, did we end up? No, not the first pick because of him.
We had the first pick. We had Mayfield.
Right, and then the fourth pick because of Houston, because Watson got injured, killed his Achilles, and so Houston sucked, and we ended up with a fourth pick, and that's how we got Denzel at number 4. So he's had at least 2 major injuries like this, and he
had the shoulder injury too the year before. So I'm not even just saying that, but I think we had a great defense. I think if we did last 23. That defense was lights out, and it's hard to play at that level in the NFL year in and year out. But I'm gonna say this, that I would not be surprised if we surprise people on Sunday. I wouldn't be.
Well, I heard it's supposed to be, like you said, crappy weather. And quite frankly, Kansas City hasn't been blowing
out.
No.
The scores have been low. It's surprising.
The Panthers gave them a game on the road, if you remember. Go ahead. Sorry,
Miles, there's a left tackle. This is only his second time starting, who's going to be against Miles on the offense. So that's good for us.
And they said Sunday night when they beat the Chargers that they purposely ran that clock out, if you remember, because their secondary is like decimated from what I heard. So it's like anything can happen. And I even said this, like when I did the pregame with John, I don't know if you saw that, when I did the pregame Fanatical Elves before the Steelers last home game.
I didn't catch that, but
I was like, I'm screaming, I can't hear you, but the wind's blowing and snow's all over me. It was hilarious. And I was just saying, I said, guys, it's a Thursday night game, no crappy weather, anything can happen. Crappy weather game. It's on the road in the NFL for the Chiefs. They haven't been blowing teams away. No. I'm honestly, if you want to ask me who I think is going to be in the Super Bowl for the AFC, I'll pick in Buffalo.
I would say that my one concern about Buffalo is more of a mental thing.
Okay.
Can they get over the mental hurdle?
Oh yeah.
That's the question, and it always takes one of those moments.
I would enjoy Buffalo Detroit in the Super Bowl.
That would be so good.
Man, all right, let me throw something out here, guys. Okay,
go ahead.
Buffalo. How many Super Bowls have they won?
0.
How many Super Bowls have the Lions been to?
0.
All right. So if Buffalo wins, what does that mean? There is one less team on the list of teams to have won a Super Bowl, leaving the Browns on a short list. What if Detroit goes to the Super Bowl and wins it? Now we are the last remaining old school team that has not been to.
Not officially, because we do you want to count it from 99?
I mean, well, tell me your logic, or tell me the explanation.
Okay. In 1995 or 96, the Cleveland Browns became the Baltimore Ravens.
Right.
So in 1999, the Cleveland Browns existed as an expansion team.
Right.
So do you count the history going all the way back?
Yes.
Even though that 3-year pause, even though this team itself was given 10 months.
Oh, I
to
know.
Start up.
I know.
But... I mean, like John was lamenting, like, oh, this is only 4th winning season since '99. But I said, but Stefanski and Barry have only been here since 2020.
That's true.
You can't blame them for all that. Plus, why? Why did this happen? Why did this season happen? Why? Then how do you fix it? So it's like, why did that? Well, we were given an expansion team, and they had to put the roster together in 10 months. That's what happened.
They hosed us and then they basically took the success of the Jaguars and the Panthers out on us. They succeeded early, in the time we were gone. And then they
Mhm.
gave us the crap. And they're like, oh, we're going to change the expansion draft rules. And we got some leftovers. And we trot Ty Detmer out there, and he gets injured immediately. Then we get pounded on national Sunday Night Football by the Steelers after Drew Carey comes out there. Oh,
Yeah, it was just it was like a wake up call. Boom. It was so bad. It was just so bad. But if you can't forget, we beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh that
yes,
year.
Bill Dawson.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bill Dawson.
I was just like because I was like Steeler fans they just kept their mouths shut. They were running their mouths for years. So I will say this, that I mean, yes, that's true, but we got hosed big time in 99,
Oh,
98,
yeah,
99. So
absolutely.
it's like, yeah, why is that? So if Detroit gets there, great. Only team I see beating Detroit in the NFC is Philadelphia, maybe.
And they've
Possibly
got
Minnesota.
infighting going on in Philly.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
tough.
Well, who else do you see besides Buffalo and Kansas City as the top AFC teams? Because I don't see Pittsburgh winning a playoff game. I really don't. I don't see them doing it.
They might eke one out if because they're going to have a home game, because they're likely going to win the AFC North. I mean, they do have a tough stretch. They got to play Philly this week,
Kansas City,
and another game against the Ravens. I mean,
and I think they got Cincinnati too.
I'm not sure. You might be right. I can't remember who that other game is. I think
it's Cincinnati. I think that they still have to play Cincinnati one more time.
Okay, but that's so. I guess if I'm looking at the standings, I mean, as it stands right now, this most serious contender to the Chiefs is in fact the Bills. But the Bills, I wonder sometimes about Josh Allen. Sometimes he does great, other times not. So there's that veteran savvy for Kansas City, and Buffalo can't make a mistake. As Tony Grossi said, like, the only way to beat them is to not let him have the ball last. And it's just very difficult. And so the Steelers, they're going to get, the question is, where are they going to be seated? Can they hold on? So you are correct. You are correct, Lou. It is at Philly, at Baltimore, home to Kansas City, home to Cincinnati. So
they play Kansas City in Pittsburgh?
Yes. They play them on Christmas Day, 1:00.
Oh, okay.
Hey, it'll be a good day for you to get some Chinese, Sherry.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, because then I think because then we got the Chiefs, then we've got the Bengals, then we got the Dolphins, and then we got the Ravens. And plus that Ravens game, if everything's already set by then, they could be resting all their starters.
That's up in the air. It's going to be a very interesting 3 weeks to see whether they are fighting for some sort of a position, whether it be the division or seeding.
Right.
And I'm not that. I mean, I think Baltimore has a lot of talent, but I'm not that impressed. Every team has its flaws. That's what sucks so bad about the Browns having such an awful season, is that there's an opening. As much as everybody talks about the Chiefs and even the Bills to an extent, there's an opening there that if the Browns had adequate quarterback play from the beginning of the season, and they'd be in better shape. And I hope that next season, I would like to see, whether or not we keep Dorsey, I don't know, but I'd like to see them go back to a more traditional Stefanski offense with a lot of play action, tight ends, etc. It works. It just works. And I want to see us use our running backs and play physical. So who knows? I'm obviously disappointed, but
we all are.
Mm-hmm.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them all, and there you have.
The facts of life. Jinx.
The facts of life.
So stupid sidebar. What do you think of Pastagate on X?
Oh,
I don't give a shit. I actually wrote about that. I
thought it was so silly.
Oh, yeah.
Why did people?
I actually wrote an article about it. Can we stop generating?
Why did they care?
Right. Well, did you see what I wrote? I said he could eat at McDonald's for all I care. I want the Browns to win on Sunday.
I just thought, I don't understand why that had to become a deal.
because people were looking for something to talk about. Now, I will say this. So it's the optics that are bad, right? Where was Nick Chubb last year when he was rehabbing? We didn't see him on social media.
He was at Wendy's.
Hey, good choice.
Good choice. Yes.
Wait,
He's getting- he's getting a-
as Millhouse said on The Simpsons, I'm so hungry I could eat at Arby's.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, but the thing was,
Speaking of Arby's, let's talk about Mrs. Garrett on the Facts of Life.
Oh no.
what's the matter?
Go ahead.
No. All right. Well, I'm all about, Mrs. Garrett. Mrs. Garrett, where's Tootie? Can we get some Tootie up in here? No, anyway, but it's the
I
optics.
always wanted a motorboat, Mrs. Garrett.
Hmm. Learning. Learning.
Lou, I think you were more of an Adelaide type of on the different strokes. You liked Adelaide, didn't you?
No.
Hey-o.
Hey-o.
But
I had a thing for redheads. Don't ask why.
oh gosh. Oh hi. How's
It looked like a clown down there. You know what I'm saying?
No!
Oh no.
But the thing is, it's all about,
Go ahead.
oh god, it's all about the optics, and pretty much anything that this guy puts out is going to be scrutinized. And then,
Especially if it looks like a clown down there, it's all about the optics. But go ahead.
oh yeah. I'm
I'm going to keep going back to that. Go ahead.
I like it. The fact that then the next day, Mary Kay Cabot has to put out an article that has to explain, oh, he's got an approved plan to be down in Miami. So my question is, this,
Oh, I didn't even
What is
see that, but that is
What-
silly.
what's wrong with the trainers? I don't know here in Cleveland. Why do you have to go to your personal trainer? Last year, why did you have to? You had surgery in LA, fine, but why did you have to rehab with trainers there?
I'm sick of this shit.
Exactly.
My
I
whole
don't-
takeaway was from that is where did they have that catered from? Because it looked phenomenal. That was my takeaway.
It was Chef
That
Boyardee.
pasta looked
Hey,
It was
did you
Chef
know Chef
Boyardee.
solid.
Oh, now wait a second, Lou. If you're gonna say it, you gotta get it. Well, firstly, it is
Boyardee.
Boyardee. Did you see the story
Boyardee.
on the Food Network on the Food That Built America? The story about Chef Boyardee and how he came to be was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. He's from Cleveland. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If you ever need a good
So
watch,
Stofers. Hmm.
yep, Food That Built America. They haven't had
Ah,
2 episodes.
That's pretty cool stuff. Yeah. Some really good shit.
Oh, it's amazing. I love that stuff. All right, but you know what we have missed, guys? We have not talked about all the Swifty rumors.
oh.
Yeah,
Those-
I had to send out a disclaimer about that, just so you know. I had to point out. You see this, Taylor?
Fair enough.
My
Fair enough.
wife said, "Hands off."
Wow, absolutely.
Digs guys with beards. I told her. It's like, yeah. Okay. And I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask Sherry where's her beard, but I went, never mind. So,
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh.
It's not coming in.
yeah. No, never mind.
No, I think that's a whole spectacle that I don't care about.
Yes, agreed.
I'm like, great, but that's how bad the Browns season is. That's something
Right.
to talk about. They were,
On the local news tonight at the top of the hour on multiple channels, guess what they were talking about?
Little Taylor Swift.
And tomorrow at the Raw Call is all about Taylor Swift.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. I mean,
Mhm.
I would venture to guess that she will be there.
Probably.
And
Oh yeah.
then
And so most of the Kelsey family, because they're all from
course.
Cleveland
Right.
Heights.
exactly. If I saw a clip from the New Heights podcast, and they were talking about the guy from the Detroit Lions that pooped his pants, or it looked like he
Oh.
pooped his pants, and he tried to say that he sat in Gatorade. And the-
Oh, someone pooped themselves. I missed that.
It was a-
Usually up on that kind of
it was a
information.
It was a Sunday night game between the Texans and the Lions, and the Lions lineman, he had a little Dookie. A little Dookie. He said he sat Gatorade, but Jason Kelsey wasn't
Sure.
buying it. He said, "Well, it's good though. It means you're working in the core. You know, you're
Right?
covered in it. It might have pushed out."
Mhm.
Have you guys ever seen the the thing on Instagram where he's singing a song like I hope it's a fart. I hope it's a fart.
Please be a fart.
Please be a fart.
Please be a fart. Yeah.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
If I don't push too hard.
Oh no.
I want to wish you a
Oh my god! I'm perpetually 12 years old, and that's my sense of humor. And
Yeah, it's
anytime
hilarious.
Art
That's why I need to
come
know. That's important. That's
Right.
really what the internet is. The foundation is, besides porn, fart jokes, and things that are accoutrements to
Porn and fart
said
jokes? Is
humor.
that serious?
Yeah, that's Al Gore's vision.
a lot
Porn
of
and fart jokes? Is that what it is?
Mhm.
Well, here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Ethan, what do you get when you cross a brown chicken with a brown cow? Have you heard that one?
no, I haven't. What do you get?
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Nice. All right. Well, this is my very young age. One of my first jokes. I don't know where I got it from, but we'll go with it.
Okay, sure.
So, Lou,
Yes.
tell me this. What is
Okay.
the difference between toilet paper and a shower curtain?
Oh God. Tell me.
So you're the one.
Yes, that's me. My fault.
That's a good one. That's funny.
Yeah, I knew what he was gonna do. So
Oh boy.
Nice. That's a good one.
yeah, I'm telling you. It is a good one. Let me see.
So what did you think about the Myles Garrett? I didn't watch the Hard Knocks thing, but that was
I
a
did.
good story. They were talking about him, this whole thing with the
I watched the Hard Knocks.
the iPad, and they're like, well, it looks like you were on there texting during a meeting. And he basically said in an interview today, like, look, as long as my play isn't affected, kind of just like, get the out of here with this
Mhm.
It's
nonsense.
like fuck you. Yeah, he's like that was just like yeah.
That again, something that is extremely just inconsequential, and then it's just
That's just
splattered
look,
upon
they're just looking for shit
socials
to talk
and.
about. Have you watched both Hard Knocks episodes? Both of you?
Mhm.
I do not
I
have.
told you you got to call me, and then I'm gonna point the phone
Well,
to
you
the
could.
TV, and then you can watch it.
Oh, you don't have an Apple device because you might be able to stream and do a screen share.
All right.
Anyway, I digress.
You digress. Okay. All right. So we basically covered everything tonight. We did all we could, and yeah, we are disappointed in this season. But the last thing I wanted to ask you guys, and I'm telling you this, I'm okay with them keeping Stefanski and Barry. I'm okay with them keeping them and just saying, hey, let these guys fix it. I saw you nod, Ethan. What are your thoughts on that? I just want to just get that.
I am very okay. I would say yay on Stefanski, and I am in between on Andrew Barry. I'm a little bit concerned with his draft picks. He hasn't had very many first round opportunities, but the ones he did have been Jed instead of Tristan Wirfs.
Right. Now I heard this. I don't know how true this is. Just so you know, I'm not putting him off the hook. It's still the pick those of his name. That Jed Wills was a Bill Callahan pick. And the analytics said pick Tristan Wirfs, and but Bill Callahan wanted.
I would love to find out more about that. If
that was true, I've heard that from several. What's that guy's show on Cleveland.com? David Bacon, I think his name is. You know what I'm talking about? The guy on the desk at Cleveland.com. He does. He's on. He does a show. I heard that on there. I've heard that several other places, but I'm not sure if it's true. I also heard Siaki Ika was a Jim Schwartz pick. Jim Schwartz wanted him. I don't know if that's true or not, but but still, Andrew Barry's name is to it. If like I said, Grant Delpit was a second round pick in that draft, which was excellent. And JOK was a second round pick when Greg Newsome was the first round pick. And Greg Newsome, he's a solid slot corner starter. I mean, he was late in the first round too, so it's kind of like I'm not too upset. That Wills had one good year and that was it. And he hasn't.
I don't know if he just gave up.
That's what it seems like.
It's like his heart's not in it. I said that to John several times. It seems like his heart is not in it. So,
and that's tough. That is tough. So my long answer is I'm okay with Stefanski. Barry, I'm on the fence. But if they ultimately kept him, what I do want to see go out the door is Aldi Podesta. I never.
That's what I was thinking too.
And furthermore, if Ken Dorsey sticks around, I want that offense changed. You can run it, you can call the plays, or you can sit there and pick your nose for all I care, but we are not running this offense back. And then furthermore, I'm seeing that the offensive line isn't as bad as I thought it was. So maybe Andy Dickerson is okay. And what are we doing at receivers, coach? Is Bubba Ventrone safe? I mean, these are all topics I'm thinking about because
you mean special teams for special teams?
The special teams stink with Ventrone.
Yeah, that's Bubba Ventrone. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think there's going to be changes. Honestly, there will be changes because
there has to be.
Yeah, after a season like this, there's going to be changes.
What about you, Sherry? What do you think?
Yeah,
I'm fine with Stefanski and Barry because wouldn't this be 5 years for them after? So 5 years is a good, and awards and accolades that are given by the press aren't that important to me. The proof is in the pudding, in the output of the team. So coach of the year, sure, I get it, but that's voted by the media, and that's not.
Give me a minute. I got to take care of something. Go ahead.
Sure. It's us.
Yeah, we could be two Browns Jews.
Yes.
Yeah, there it is. Two
Brown Jews.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting.
But what does he contribute? Why don't we know more about what he does? And he's getting paid, I'm assuming,
a lot.
Right. So why not free up some of those shekels to get us better players, or
Well, it wouldn't factor into that. It really
Gotcha.
that wouldn't make a difference in the actual player, but in the
what
money.
does he
Exactly.
do? And how long has he been a part? Do you think the Haslam's
It's like the very beginning. He's been in their ear for like 10 years. He started the whole tear it down thing with Sashi Brown.
Okay.
I believe is when he started. And so that whole rebuild is under him. When we tore it down to the studs.
Sure.
And 1-15 and 0-16,
Yeah, that was painful.
So it was very painful. It was very, very painful.
Why has he been on the payroll for so long when
he's
I get it.
Haslam trusts him. And what he wanted was, instead of and this is based upon what I've seen, what I've heard, no sources or anything, but kind of my understanding is he wanted people that were in step with one another.
Gotcha.
All on the same page, and they finally got everybody. They've got a GM and a head coach that are on the same page.
Yeah,
but I think that Paul DePodesta, I want him removed from the building, removed from California, wherever he is, to stay away from the team and the strategy. In fact, I just want somebody to figure out the draft picks. Now, Lou, let me ask you this, because
yes, sir,
you're a man's man. Are you?
I try to be.
I mean, hey, we need a football guy. Go get me Dan Campbell. Bite a kneecap off. Let's go.
You think because Stefanski's not like an emotional rah-rah type of guy, like a Bill Cowher type, that he needs to be replaced?
No, that's what people think.
I don't think that.
No, I think everybody is different. You can be cerebral and you can win. You don't. I mean,
sure.
You think Sean McVay is like telling people he's going to bite a kneecap off? I doubt it.
No.
Very smart. I mean, you think Sean McDermott? I mean, hell, I can't even imagine Andy Reid being that way. He's
not at all.
It has nothing to do with your attitude on the sideline. That's not it. You have to cater, and you have to be yourself. 1, 2, you have to know who your audience is, who your players are, and you have to work with them.
Right.
So I think for that, with that being said,
yeah,
I don't have a problem with him.
No, and I think they're still playing for him. If you watch, they're still playing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even I'm trying to. I think Romo said it, and so did Aikman. They said they're not playing like a 3-win team.
Right.
Exactly. Well, so Aikman said they're not playing like a 3-win team. He also said that Watson is the albatross.
Yes, that was a line.
He said that. Yeah, pretty much an albatross around his neck right now.
And then Romo, who they were searching for something to talk about, and they pulled that clip of Stefanski talking about the players that clocked their fastest time when they chased down the Denver defender that intercepted the ball in the end.
They kept playing. Yeah, he caught that. Yeah,
exactly. So they had to come up with something in the meetings. Or like, I bet Kevin was like, guys, let me tell you, they aren't quitting on me. They clocked their fastest time right here. Did you see that? Did you see them run? They're not quitting on me. So Tony Rome's like, hey, Jim, listen to this. These guys are running after him. Whoa, Nelly. All right, who sucks more, Romo or Brady as an announcer?
I'm going to go with Romo because Brady's still new. They're still training. He's
as dry as rye. He's dry.
Oh, man, dry.
Yeah.
What about Melba Toast?
Oh, toast.
He's awful. He's got no personality. He's captain personality. I think Giselle beat it out of him.
Well, potentially.
Well, I don't know what kind of kinky stuff they were married.
No, I feel bad for Greg Olson.
Well, did you hear what he said in his court deposition when it was their anniversary and she couldn't do anything because it was that time of the month for her?
Oh, what did he say?
No, what she said. She said it was a real pain in the ass.
Oh, hey-oh. Oh, boy. Well, now. Hey, now. I like that. This is good. We're going to get comedy right now. We got the tour. 2 Jews and a wrestler.
Right.
What's 2 Jews and a wrestler? Oh, I like that. We could have a business, 2 Jews and a truck. So.
Oh boy! Well, hey.
Well, okay. Here I got a question. I got a question. And I said this on the stew pot. Nobody could figure it out. If a trans woman uses the bathroom and leaves the toilet seat up, who do they get mad at?
The janitor.
There you go.
The janitor. Right.
I would do that. I would just identify as a woman and just leave the seat up in women's rooms just to piss them off.
You might get pissed on. I don't know.
That's a whole different kink altogether, but we're not going to talk about that on the show.
The Bachelor Party.
The Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks?
Yes, Bachelor Party. And that one guy, he's like in love with the hired help. And then the hired help goes and uses the rest.
Hi, I'm Dave. It's like she had a deep voice and everything. It's like, she had an Adam's apple. He's like, I'm like, hands like Andre the Giant. I'm it's a dude.
What about the wife, the fiance's mother at the strip club at the bachelorette party? And he gets the
Nick. Nick, yes, Nick.
Oh my God.
God, he's loving it more than I am.
This hat.
Hey,
looks good on you.
Never seen Bachelor Party?
Oh, you gotta see it. It's a classic.
Oh yeah. You know what? I hope Taylor Swift hits on me. I hope she hits on me. I would look at her and say, you know what? You look like your OnlyFans is free.
You don't want to upset the Swifties. They're a mighty nation of.
Oh yeah, like I need to be pummeled with estrogen pumps. Okay. So,
oh boy! Wow!
Coming
out! Oh, with a suplex off the top!
The Swifties!
On the Swifties!
Damn that Austin!
On the Swifties! All right, I got a joke.
Okay.
Browns.
No, it's not a Browns joke.
That's the joke. Good one.
How many Mexicans does it take to change a light bulb?
Oh, I know this answer. I won't say it.
I heard you say this last week, Luke.
Yes, with Amelia.
Were we on, Leo, when we said that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
it's only one. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, mine doesn't work, but it's like if you were Hispanic people at a traffic light, what do they say? Gringos.
I like that one. Well, did you hear like how when they did the exit polling in the election, how they were able to find the Hispanic male voters?
Juan.
Nope, they're the guys carrying the weed whackers.
Oh.
It's terrible, but it's funny.
See?
Oh wow! Lou, what we need though is we need to get some British comedy on here. We need to get
British comedy.
Well, I am British. I am
John Cleese.
John Cleese. I'm a Mr. Bean guy. You know,
Mr. Bean. He's more of a sight humor guy.
Oh,
okay. Well, okay. This is gonna be my last joke. This is true. I actually did do this. You should see the look on this person's face when I said it. It was a Salvation Army ringing the bell in front of the grocery store. It was a dude in a wheelchair. I thought it was okay, cool. So I had a couple dollars in cash. I put it in there, And he said, "Thank you." He goes, "Walk with Jesus." And I looked at him. I said, "Roll with Jesus." He stared at me for like a minute. He stared, I just went, "I gave you a couple bucks." He's like, "I'll give it to you." I thought I was being nice, I told him.
That was, I mean, that was.
See, that's the thing. You always have to judge and really look at somebody when they say something and see if you don't know them, you have to look and try and figure out if they're being sincere or what the situation is. To simply judge somebody on the one little thing they say without really thinking about it is what gets you into trouble. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
I got you, brother.
Well, I mean, I could do the one that they were talking about, like Charlie Sheen. He did a lot of drugs in his day. He said he did enough drugs to kill 2.5 men. So.
Oh man, that's a good one. I like it.
Yeah. It's Christmas time. You know what's going to be on?
What?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Mm-hmm.
They're remaking it. He's going to be called Rolando, and he's going to dominate the female Rangers games.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Trust me. I've done stuff. See, the thing is, I'm like this in real life. IRL. Sherry will tell you this.
Yeah.
And my wife will tell you this. Like, the doctor's office when she was pregnant was hilarious because the doctor just knew I was going to mess with her, like, because she was all, but our first one was a week late and they had to induce labor. And I was like, well, they were concerned because she was getting so big. It was almost a C-section because she was in there so long. And I said, well, what can we do to get the process going? In the meantime, she was like, well, intercourse, you need to have sex. So I paused and I looked at the doctor and I said, okay, just to be clear, you mean with her? The look my wife gave me, I'm like, well, I want to make sure.
Yeah, it was a valid question. And Lou, I am right there in the same boat as you. Our first child, our son Jacob, he was a week late, and we had to induce, and and then in the process, he got stuck. He turned himself stuck. So we ended up
C-section.
And,
wow.
But actually, that wasn't bad because then with our daughter, we did a planned one, and that was fine. And so it worked out. It did work out, but
yeah. Well, the laws are happy and healthy. That's all that matters, and everybody's okay.
Exactly.
Well, the doctor, when she was in labor, because my daughter was 9 pounds 9 ounces.
Wow, that's a big baby.
Yeah, they were concerned as well, and I think the doctor said this about Christine, which was I said this and she couldn't believe I did this, but I mean, she said that she had a high cervix.
Okay.
And I'm like, and yet I still make her happy. What does that tell you?
Oh.
The doctor just like her jaw dropped. She's like, my wife, epidural on the bed. She's, I can't believe you just said that.
Yeah, I don't know. I had the questions for a doctor that had never been asked because I'm a little bit squeamish. So I asked the doctor before Jacob was born. This is at a regular one of the regular checkup visits. I said, "What is the feel, the bounce back, like if you cutting the umbilical cord?" Because I kind of wanted to know, if I do this, how much resistance is there going to be?
I did it. It was kind of like cutting a wire. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't want to do that. And I didn't want to, especially after everything. I was right by my wife's side at her head and right there. And the anesthesiologist, he was fantastic. He was taking pictures. It was solid. Or one of the assistants, he's like, "Oh, I'll take a picture." I'm like, "Great. Thank you." He got some good shots. He did.
I'm sure he did.
That's good. Yeah.
Of the baby.
Okay.
They told
Thank
me,
you for the clarification.
They told me, if you pass out, you're on your own. We're taking care of the wife and everything. And I was like, but the nurse looked at me and looked at Christine and just went, "He's not going to pass out." That's what she said.
I might. You don't want to see. So I was better off where I was. I was a nervous wreck. I'm sure my father-in-law would attest to that.
I was okay. I think I don't know why. I was okay. I was just kind of like, but go ahead. You were nervous? I don't know why. I wasn't that nervous. I just wanted, yeah.
I'm a stressful guy. I'm always stressed out as my children have observed. and I might have mentioned this to John and Sam yesterday. I've got a lot of grievances. I'm angry about things. I can yell and get angry. That's why we go nuclear on our
Mhm.
show. And
So you celebrate Festivus.
pretty much, I have the airing of grievance
Every week, though.
every week. I have lots of things to yell about. In fact, I yell so much on the regular that my wife put on one of my broadcasts when I was calling basketball play-by-play.
Mhm.
Put it on for the kids, and they said, "That doesn't sound like Dad. He's not yelling."
Well, hey, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Plus, it's the holidays. It's supposed to be for family, and there's people have to realize too. There's soldiers that are out there, and they're not home. They're away from their families. So we got to keep them in mind too. Even the gay soldiers, because they always have the other guy's back.
They do. They do. Literally and figuratively.
Yes. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I just realized we went really long just telling jokes and going on and on.
Oopsies.
I don't give a shit.
It's a fun Friday, right?
It was a fun Friday the 13th. Ethan, thanks for coming on. It was like a last minute thing. I just said, hey, you want to come on? We'll just have some fun.
You're doing the circuit.
Hey,
doing the circuit.
First of all, thank you very much for having me on. Thank you for having me, everybody.
Of course.
Gary, thank you for for putting me in contact with John.
No problem.
Happy to be a part of the Fanatical Elves family. And,
we're a family. We're dysfunctional, but we're a family.
Exactly.
That's normal. That's like the definition of family.
I didn't even do my Trump.
You didn't. I don't see the Facebook thing. You're fine.
Oh yeah. We're not on Facebook. I'm good. Did you hear about that? We got us in trouble on Facebook because I was doing my Trump, just imitating Trump. That's all I was doing, just like this.
In trouble.
And I got in trouble. Somebody complained about it, and John's like, John was like, who is doing impersonations? And I was like, me.
It was funny.
I don't understand how that gets you in trouble.
I was just going on, just talking about how big I am.
It was funny.
All right, wait.
Yeah, I was going and saying, hey, orange is the new black. That's why I said it. Look at me.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I'll go with Browns fans, orange and brown. I'm orange.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some brown. We're good. That's what I was doing. I was just having fun with it.
That's fine. That I will say that's a little bit crazy that happened.
People, you got to understand. There's people. They'll find stuff to get angry about online. Whether Deshaun's eating pasta at a nice restaurant,
or Miles Garrett's playing on his tablet.
Yeah,
he's sending a text to his girlfriend. Take out the steaks to thaw him out for dinner tonight. I don't know what the hell he was saying.
No, he said it was someone from his family. But either way, regardless. So, again, thank you very much. Glad to be part of Fans First Sports.
Yeah,
we're part of the Fanatical Elves, and going forward, we will have to have. Sherry has been on my show. Yeah. You will have to come on.
Absolutely. What nights are you on usually?
Generally, we are on Wednesday, but I am kind of flexible, as it were. Normally we're on at 8:00 on Wednesdays, and it just depends. My co-host Mike, my college classmate, he has 3 boys, and they are doing lots of football, baseball practice. He helps coaching and stuff. His oldest is in 6th grade. And I think his oldest is in 6th, and the other one might be a couple of years younger. And their youngest is 3. So anyway, regardless, the invitation is out there. We need to plan some time. We might have to go nuclear on wrestling, and have some chats about that, because you know what? I think that the story that is told in wrestling is just as entertaining as some of the stories that we see on the gridiron.
Oh yeah. The storylines in wrestling are just fun. I've got tons of stories, and it's always interesting to do that. And the other thing too, just wanted to make one last point with the stadium stuff with the Browns, because you're not here. The local politicians up here are hemming and hawing and posturing, meanwhile we hired a construction company to start building. It's like, it's like, dude, these guys are like hemming and hawing and getting in front of the cameras, and Haslam's like, we're gonna build this. Try and stop me.
Yeah. Casey, Ronayne. Shut up.
You should see the articles I write about these people. I said, you're welcome to come on this show. I will look you in the eyes and tell you, you are full of shit.
Well,
I will.
So I guess that's, and I've tried to kind of get an understanding. Why is it that you don't want to have something that's beneficial? It's still in Cuyahoga County, and
They're
it's
still going to be,
it's going to benefit the greater region. And especially if you are then able to actually build some housing and shopping and make something of the lakefront instead of just having the stadium that's used 8 to 10 times a year. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And it's falling apart. It was built in a rush. It's on a 93-year-old foundation. They're screaming taxpayer money for the new stadium when it's already 2/3 privately funded. Just with that, and they're saying, like, what's paying for what's there now? That money pit that's on the lakefront.
Right.
It's taxpayer money.
Yep.
It's all they have to keep it up. They have to, it's like it was completely. The thing is, this same stupid bureaucratic bullshit is what ran Art Modell out of town in '95. That's what happened. I blame them just as much as I blame him.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough situation.
It was a very tough situation. But I'm saying, like, at least now we have Jimmy Haslam. We have an owner. He's spending the money. You can't say he's not spending money. He doesn't want to win. He's going to do what he has to win. He's going to spend the money. So one thing we know, he's probably not Jewish. So,
well, yeah. So there.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us for this marathon episode. No, this wasn't the longest we've gone. We did the draft the one time, and by the end of the show, I was so crabby. I was so angry.
It was very funny.
They had Edith.
We'll do the belching contest. We'll win that one.
They had Edith Bunker announcing draft picks.
Oh, you were so. He was very
shut
upset.
That stupid. You know what up? I was like, God, who picked her to announce these? I think Jarrell was laughing his ass off. Jarrell's a good dude. He hasn't been doing much because him and his wife had a newborn, and you know what that's like. You know, when you have a newborn, your life is just not going well for at least 6 months because that's when they get on the sleeping schedule and they start sleeping normal. So, for the most part, all right. Hey guys, thank you, Sherry. Breezy Browns Talk Wednesday nights. Your show's Wednesday nights as well for now, Ethan. Your next show, anything you want to plug?
Yeah, be sure to tune in. We are scheduled right now to be back on Going Nuclear CLE. We are full-blown coverage of the land, and the blown coverage comes from Joe Woods. And we will be on Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. I'm at egreen4325. There's also the Going Nuclear page at Going Nuclear CLE, and on YouTube, Going Nuclear CLE. You'll be able to find me as part of the Fanatical Elves Network, as well as on Fans First Sports. And again, Lou, make sure you tell everybody that you can find the Burning River Browns Talk podcast on all your favorite platforms, whether it be
all your favorite platforms,
etc.
Apple, iTunes, everywhere. Guys, check this out. This is Burning River Browns Talk. We're on every Friday night. Also, the Sunday Stew Pot strictly on Rumble. We also have the Stewcast on Wednesday afternoons with Corey Castle. It's a pro wrestling podcast I do for Combat Zone, which is a part of the Fans First Sports Network. So I am all over the place, and I'm writing and I'm doing all this. I am having a blast, and I tell my bad jokes. Sometimes my jokes are good, sometimes they're bad, but I tell them anyway. Always remember, when the river burns, it burns brown and orange. I will see you next Friday. Thank you, Ethan.
Thank you.